Hello, Mr. Witness, welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you able to proceed?
Yes, I'm good, sir.
Good. Before we start, I would wish to remind you that you're still under oath, and all those warnings I gave you prior to this hearing and during the commencement of the hearing still hold valid. Providing false testimony is an offense. Lying before the TRRC or lying under oath, for that matter, are both crimes within the jurisdiction. Understand? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Before we left off on this short break, you are telling us about your activities from the night of the 10th of November 1994.
Mm-hmm.
You indicated that at around 10 or 11 p.m. on the 10th of November, you left the barracks and went to the house of then Lieutenant Edward Singate, correct?
That's correct.
Correct?
Correct, that's correct.
You also indicate that you spent the night at that house behind YMCA and you did not leave the house throughout that night, correct?
That's correct.
You said you remained in that house until the afternoon of Saturday when Edward Singate and his entourage returned to his house, where you had lunch with them, correct?
That's correct.
So you said the only time you left that house was after Singate and his entourage left to go somewhere you do not know where, correct?
That's correct.
And you said when you left Edward Singate's house, you went to Fajara Barracks.
That's correct.
And that is your testimony.
That's correct.
Mr. Witness, with that account, you suggesting that you did not participate in any of the activities up to the killing of the soldiers that occurred at a forest near what's the name of the place again? Near Sifo. You did not participate in any of those activities.
That's correct.
That is your testimony.
That's correct.
The evidence we have is to the contrary.
Mm-hmm.
I would play you a video, mm-hmm, and I would ask for your reaction.
No problem.
Technicians, could you kindly play the video or the excerpt from the testimony of Pa Senghor, please? Lamin Senghor, the assassin. Could you give us volume, please? Could you start it? Could you start it? Could you resume? Could you restart playing the video? Technicians, could you restart playing the video and up the volume, please? Do you know whether a Njai?
Njai, yes, Njai.
Which Njai?
Njai Ponkal.
Any other Njai with him?
There used to be another Njai, Baba Njai, if I am correct.
And how about for Edward Singate?
There was this Bakari Jiba, Baj Samba as a driver, Baj Samba Jallo as a driver, one Fiat colored sergeant from SAO, Fati, Sergeant Fati.
And what was his first name?
Lamin Fati. Then you have Marena. The first name I forgot. Short guy.
And for Yankuba Ture?
Yankuba Ture, Esa was with him.
Esa who?
Esa Mendy.
Esa or Ensa?
Ensa.
Good.
And I think one Jalimusaso also.
Okay, essentially those were the people. Did they come with any other people apart from this group?
No, each came with his own orderly.
And tell us what happened when they arrived at State House.
They went upstairs, discussed with the chairman, then they came back and
technicians, you can end it at that. So you see, Mr. Fati, we have one witness placing you at State House as being in the company of Edward Singate and his crew. And the witness alleged that that is the group Edward came with, and that is the group Edward left with to go to Yundum Barracks for the attack of that night. What do you say to that?
I would call it the lie of the century. And I have reasons to say that.
We are listening.
Senghor is talking of Canton Marena, whom I spent the night with in Edward's place. He said Marena, Canton Marena. That's Canton. The Bakari Jiba he's talking. Bakari came to Edward's guards when I was relieved in 1998. This Bakari changed me, myself and Maron. Bakari came with one Fadera. I think Fadera is still in the army. Bakari is now with customs. This Senghor is lying beyond doubt.
Mr. Witness, apart from the suggestion that Senghor is lying, you have not said anything to suggest or to support your assertion that Senghor is lying. Do you have anything else to say to support your assertion that Senghor is lying?
Yes. I said you can contact Canton Marena. I spent the night, though Edward's mother is late, I spent that night with Canton Marena. He's a home guard.
So essentially, you would agree that on the 10th of November 1994, both yourself and Canton Marena were somehow associated with Edward Singate, correct?
That's on the 10th that night. I found him in the house.
So on that date, the two of you were associated with Edward Singate. You're not disputing that?
That night, we were not associated. We are associated the following day on the 11th.
But that night, you were at Edward Singate's house.
That's correct.
Canton Marena was also at Edward Singate's house.
That's correct.
So by extension, the two of you were on that night associated with Edward Singate.
That's correct.
You agree with that?
That's correct.
So this witness is saying that you did not spend the night at Edward Singate's house. You went to State House with Edward Singate, and from there you went with him to participate in the operations of that evening or of that night. Do you disagree with that?
I disagree in totality.
So you say it is false?
Yes.
You would agree with me that hold on a second, Mr. Chair. I need to consult with members of my team to sort out an issue. My apologies for that. I had to consult with members of my team. Mr. Witness, from the testimonies we have received, members of the junta with their entourage went to State House, consulted with Yaya Jammeh, and from there they went on to fight at Yundum Barracks first, then to Fajara Barracks, collected soldiers arrested soldiers from Mile 2 prisons, took them back to Fajara Barracks. From there, they went to Yundum Barracks, and later that day they executed the other officers who were captured. That is the narrative we have. You have listened to the TRRC testimonies. You would agree that that summarizes the sequence of events as narrated by witnesses, correct? Okay. So now you have extricated yourself from State House. You say you were not there.
That's true.
But you would agree that it is those, according to the testimonies, it is those who left State House that went to Yundum Barracks.
That's true.
We want to hear from Abdoulaye Dabo about what happened at Yundum Barracks in order to see whether, in fact, this witness was in Yundum Barracks or not. But I am being told that the video is not yet available. So I would skip that part. I move on to the next part, and then I'd have to come back to Abdoulaye Dabo at a later stage. Yeah? But I can confirm to you that Abdoulaye Dabo mentioned you.
I heard it.
As one of those who was present at Yundum Barracks that morning.
I heard it.
That is false also?
It's totally false.
Okay. So now we have you mentioned as being at State House, as part of the group that left State House and went to attack at Yundum Barracks by one witness, Pa Senghor, the assassin. You deny that?
Yes.
The group left State House and went to Yundum Barracks. One other witness, a victim this time around, identified you as having been present at that. You also deny that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I would ask that they play the video, the excerpt of the statement of Alaji Kanyi. Please. And what happened after that?
From there, we left the Yundum Barracks to the along the road from Birkama to Nyambai Forest end. We go up to when we pass Farad, going towards Birkama. Before we reach to that beans factory, Nyambai Forest, there is a road on the right side of the right side of the road. That's where we branch off, going towards Jambur end. Like we pass Farado, but we are not yet in Birkama, inside forest. Yes.
And what happened after that?
We went right inside the bush. Upon arrival of where they want the leader who was in front, I think, then, I don't know, it may be Sana, because as far as he's the vice chairman, in the army, we respect, like seniority or appointment title. He may be in front, but then I don't know. So all the cars were, parked, and the Land Rover arrived. So the Basa was removed from them, and they were dropped down. Taken to
At this stage, the detainees, were they restrained? Were they tied?
They were tied.
Hands behind their back?
Hands behind the back.
And then what happened? They dropped down? And
then they dropped down, taken to for a distance in front of us. We and the council members, I was part of them. Council members with their orderly, we line up and facing them.
Were the captured soldiers facing you, or did they have their backs to you?
They are giving us their back.
And they were grouped together or they were standing in a line?
It's like a form of an extended line.
Okay. And then what happened after?
And then from there, Lieutenant Sadibu Hydra said, yes, I want to ask you one question. Suppose we come across with you people, what is going to happen? No response from them. Yes. No response from them.
Who was he asking that question?
Lieutenant Sadibu Hydra.
To whom was that question?
He was asking the
addressed?
captured people.
Proceed.
No response. No response. From there, Sana Sabal said, say your last prayers. I remember Cadet Silla, Ahmad Silla, who said, sir, if you are to kill us with support weapon, and we meet in the next world. Yes.
Did anybody else say something?
Nobody said nothing, sir.
Buba Jame, Lieutenant, did he say something?
Yes, sorry. Buba Jame said, he's a gendarmerie. Sir, Al-Kanamfa Al-Insorom in the local language. That is, don't kill us. Please lock us, take us to jail.
Now I want to establish who was present at that stage. You told us that the captured soldiers were put in an extended line and they gave their backs to you. Your group, tell us who was there. I understand you did indicate that the council members were there, but yes, give us a list of the people who were present.
Lieutenant Sanabi Sabali, yes. Lieutenant Sadibu Hydra, Lieutenant Edward Singate, Lieutenant Peter Singate, Colonel Babukar Jata, Lamin Fati, LJJ, myself,
thank you, technicians. So, Mr. Witness, did you hear your name being mentioned?
Very well.
And your name is mentioned in connection of the shootings of the captured officers at the forest in Sifo. What do you say to that?
As I told you, I am reminding myself that I'm under oath. Alaji is telling lies.
Okay, so if now let's try to put things in proper context. You claim you were at Edward Singate's house.
Yes.
The witnesses who appeared before the TRRC, they say that you and Edward Singate's entourage were at State House at the early hours of the evening. They claim, Abdullah Dabo, we would hear him shortly, that you were part of the team that removed him and his group from the prison at Mile 2.
That's strange.
You are also claimed to have been in the forest where the executions took place. And we all agree that all these events are interlinked. They are all one transaction, one incident that, or a chain of incidents that followed in sequence. You were involved or allegedly involved in each of those instances or events, and you have been mentioned by completely different individuals and witnesses. You say that they are all lying.
Counsel, I am telling you I know I'm on the oath. I will not sit here and lie. The whole nation is looking at me and beyond the Gambia. I cannot lie. What happens, I am an orderly still serving in the army. Anybody would remember I was an orderly. This thing has never happened, as I told you. If these people can establish that night, there are people with Edward. Maybe one is late, but there are living witnesses who were with Edward at that time, wherever they went.
But these witnesses happen to have been in the same places with Edward Singate, correct?
That's correct. But they cannot remember the entourage of Edward.
But they remember you as having been present.
Because still my face is on the screens that I am still in the army. There are people who serve with Edward, they don't, as I told you.
What, you see, what I... That may be understandable. But for three different individuals to place you at different points in one continuum, and for all of them to make that mistake, wouldn't that be...
Like I'm sitting here.
Yes, it is possible, but highly unlikely, wouldn't it?
I have listened to witnesses.
No, the question is, yes, you said it is possible, but wouldn't it be highly unlikely?
Highly unlikely. But in this instant, counsel, I am telling you, I'm not here to argue, but wallahi, I can tell you, so if you bring other witnesses who were with Edward, they will tell you Fatih was not in the bush. Bring witnesses, more witnesses. There are people who were with Edward. Maron is alive. He is the orderly to the Edward in that time. Marena is alive. This Bakari is telling you Bakari was not with Edward. After my replacement, Bakari come to Edward.
You see, Mr. Witness, the question is not who was attached to Edward at what point in time. The question was who was with Edward at State House and during this operation. And you have been mentioned to have been with Edward during this operation.
Yeah, I mentioned, but I am telling you between me and Allah, I will not tell you lies. Allah is watching us, whether we like it or not. We will say this year, but we'll say it tomorrow. This event will happen somewhere else, which is not under this roof. God is watching us. I'm talking to you between me and my intimate Allah. I was not in that bush. If I am there, I will say it. I'm sure people sat here and tell lies. Yes, but I will not face this whole nation and tell lies.
Yes, it is quite convenient to be able to sit there and say, all the others who came before you spoke lies, but I'm the one speaking the truth. When, in reality, you are being implicated.
Yes, I know I'm implicated. People have been convicted innocently because of mistake of timeline,
so,
or mistake of identity. That can happen to me, but I will take it in good faith.
In this particular case, is it mistaken identity?
It could be mistaken names or mistaken identity. Seriously, beyond all words, I think that would be my last to defend this. Beyond all what I can say, I was not in the bush.
Can you tell us which part of the evidence you had so far is mistaken identity?
Seeing Lamin Fati in that bush is mistaken.
No. Which part of what they say is mistaken identity?
Mile 2, Lamin Fati in the night of that day in Mile 2 is mistaken identity.
So, no. It can only be mistaken identity if they see somebody else and claim that that person is you. That is not a scenario here. What we have here is the witnesses say that it was Lamin Fati. You are the person at the time called Lamin Fati in the army. You're the person described as light-skinned Lamin Fati.
Yes.
You are the person described as Lamin Fati short from Esau. This is the manner, or these are the terms in which you were described. Hardly a mistake, isn't it?
Yes, I think we can rest it, sir. But I know I was not in the bus.
So you think that these witnesses just fabricated this
a
story?
lie. And if you contact more people, wallahi, between me and my living God, you will prove that I was not in there.
Do you realize, Mr. Witness, that the event of November 11th did not stop at November 12th? The events continued.
I know.
All right? And you happen to be involved in the continuation of the events.
Yes.
So, in a sense, you are involved at the beginning by going to Edward's house, correct? But you cut yourself off from involvement in all other subsequent activities which involves death, correct? And now you resuscitate, you resurfaced in the continuation of the events. And then you participated.
Yes.
That is what you want us to believe.
What I'm saying is, whatever is decided, I take it in good faith. But I'm telling you, as a senior officer in the Gambia Army, my soldiers are looking at me. I would not lie. I was not in that bus.
You have just told us that officers in that same army came here and lied.
I said maybe people sit in this place and lie, but I would not lie.
Just let me finish the question. It's not for me to decide whether you have lied or not. My role is to bring out the evidence and bring it out in a manner that it would be so clear for those who have the power to make the decision to do so.
Exactly.
But you want to hide behind the fact that you are a senior officer in the army, and therefore you would not lie. Correct?
I am so I will not lie.
Because you are a senior officer in the army.
And a noble blood in me that I will not lie, the nation looking at me.
Yes, but you want us to believe you on that undertaking.
Yes.
But at the same breath, you turn around and told us that other officers of the army have come here and lied.
If I may say that may be mistaken, so I say some more people may come and lie, but I will not lie. If I say they lie, that's mistaken of tongue. That's my mistake.
I am happy that you are making this undertaking not to lie.
Yes.
But I want you to give us a defense. I want to give us evidence that would suggest that it's in fact those witnesses who lied and not you. What do you have that you can put out there to show that you are in fact speaking the truth?
I think I have said that, Council. I said I was in Edward's house that night till the following morning. When they came, I went to Fajara, and there are activities. Wake up from Sunday, I was part.
That's all you have to say?
That's what I have.
That's all you have to say? Nothing else?
Nothing else.
All right, then we take it from there. We just move on.
Exactly.
The evidence, as you would agree, some witnesses put you at State House.
Exactly.
Another witness put you at the prison. We are yet to play that video.
I had it.
Yes, but for the record, for the purposes of the completeness of the record, we have to put it out there for all to see. Technicians, can you now play the video of the testimony of Ablai AJJ Dabo?
These juntas, Sana Sabali, Edward Singate, Yankuba Ture, Sadib Hadra, Peter Singate, with their guards, were all present.
At that point, could you recognize any of their guards?
I can recognize this man, Usman Sonko.
What was his rank at the time?
Usman Sonko was a lieutenant, who was later became the Minister of Interior. Then Maud Baji.
What was his rank?
Maud Baji was a major. Then you have Babukar Njai. Babukar Njai, who was a private soldier. Then you
was he assigned to anyone?
Babukar, I think he was assigned to Sana or Sadibu. These two, he was assigned to this Sana. Yes, he was assigned to Sana Sabali. Then you have Mustafa Toure, known as Churo, Pa Senghor.
You told us earlier that these individuals were assigned to Edward Sinyate.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Then you have Jakaria Dabo.
Can you say the name again?
Jakaria Dabo.
Jakaria.
Dabo, yeah.
Okay. What was his rank?
He was a private soldier. I believe now he's with the immigration department.
Who was he assigned to at the time?
Jakaria was assigned to Sadibu, I believe. Yeah. Then we have Buba Jame.
What was his rank at the time?
Buba Jame was a private soldier.
Do you recall who he was assigned to?
No, Buba Jame was, at that time, he was attached to Yundum Barracks. You know, he's a junior brother to Yaya Jame. We call him Kalilai too, Kalilai Junior. And you have Lance Corporal Lamin Fati was there.
Do you recall who he was assigned to?
Lance Corporal, at that time, I don't know exactly whom he was assigned to, but he was there.
So, Mr. Witness.
I had.
You had?
I had it.
He too is lying?
He is.
It is interesting that this witness indicated that Buba Jame, alias Kanilai, was present at this moment. And you were also present at this moment, correct?
Yes.
So that ties the two of you in an operation, correct?
Yes, yes.
You deny that that happened?
If I tell you, when I brought two of the ones we arrest, on Sunday, this guy was in the cells.
Answer.
He was there.
The question.
Sir?
Answer the question I just asked. You agree that this witness ties you into an operation with Buba Jame Kanilai?
Yes.
And you say that is false?
It ties us, yes.
It is
with
false.
Operation. That is true. He said, I had.
Is the allegation true or is it false?
I told you, Counsel, the decision is there, but I am telling you, between me and Allah, I was not there. And I think that's how I put it. I was not there.
Mr. Witness, is it not the case that you went to Edward Singate's house that night?
I went to Edward's night.
And together with Edward Singate and his entourage, you left Edward Singate's house, went to State House, and participated in crushing the attempted coup that was to take place that night. Is that not the case? I
told you, Counsel, I'm telling you, I would not argue. I was not there. You see,
so in your position is that different witnesses lied about your presence and participations in different stages of that operation.
Exactly.
So you deny participating in all that?
In that, I can tell you one thing. We'll say this year. Today, nobody will say I was not there because I'm the only one. But as far as I'm concerned, I know I'm innocent as far as those operations are concerned. We will do this year. We'll say everything here. We are in this world, but I'll be vindicated.
Mr.
Not
Witness,
in this world.
In
Wallahi,
every trial in this country, people take an oath.
Yes.
And in every trial, some witnesses are found not to be credible. So brandishing the Quran and telling us you're telling the truth does not necessarily mean that you're speaking the truth.
I know.
I am not for a moment suggesting that you're doing otherwise. But what I am trying to put to you is that you have not given us anything other than your word, which suggests that you were not there.
That's what I can do.
All right, let's move on.
Yes, sir.
We have agreed that the operations for November 11th started on the 10th, the night of the 10th,
yes,
and it continued on for a few other days.
Yes.
Let's tell us what happened on Monday.
Is it Sunday or Monday?
On Sunday.
Sunday I was in Fajara. Peter came with a list that some few soldiers have to be arrested.
Peter who?
Peter Singate. Captain Singate come with a list that some soldiers should be arrested. He said there is a soldier in the MRS.
Peter Singate, was he involved in the operations of the night before or not?
I saw Peter the following day, as I told you in the afternoon, when he come with Edward together to the house.
So therefore you agree that he was involved in the operations the day before?
Yes.
Correct? Okay, proceed.
Yes. When that happens, he just come with a list. He said there are people to be arrested, but there is one medic in the office. In the office at Fajara, medical office, that he should be arrested.
Do you know the name of the medic?
Ibrahim Anjai. And then he said, he instructed me to go and bring him.
Are you sure whether the first name is Ibrahim or was it different?
I'm not sure, but I know it's Njai. He has some...
Does the name Momodu Njai ring a bell?
Mod Njai. Mod Njai.
Proceed, please.
Whilst going towards the clinic, I saw Njai coming with two soldiers, I cannot remember. Then I joined them. I personally told Njai to crawl. Apart
from telling Njai to crawl, did you do anything to him?
Yeah, he crawled. While he was crawling, I kicked him.
And butt struck him?
No, I was not before. I was not armed at that point.
Were you the only one who kicked him?
I kicked him. Peter kicked him. Well, apart from Peter, I don't see anybody. I personally kicked him.
Did he sustain injuries?
Peter fired him on his leg.
He shot him on his leg?
Yes, on his leg.
That's what you said?
Yes.
Did he sustain any injuries?
He sustained injuries.
So this all happened in the context or in the same transaction. You kicking him and then Peter shot him?
I kicked him before the shot. Well, after the shot, I was surprised because I can't just look at him again and do. Because to me, at that time, I was dealing with a coupist. And at that time, as we are young, I look at this as the people who want to bring trouble in the country. Taking arms and unseat a sitting government, that was what I was against. But I know at that time, that was too much. I've kicked him while he was crawling.
By too much, you mean that was absolutely wrong?
Wrong. I accept it was wrong. Doing that was wrong. But at the time, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing the guy as a coupist.
And you decided to maltreat him?
Yes, I do.
You decided to violate his rights?
I do. Because I was seeing him at that point as a coupist.
Coupists have rights, don't they?
I do, but at that time, as a young soldier, I look at you as I see you as you want to destroy this country, because that was just 3 years I was from Liberia. I saw what rebellion can bring if it is not controlled.
You were demonstrating your loyalty to the junta.
Peter is an individual.
But Peter was associated with the junta, wasn't he?
Exactly.
You wanted to show your loyalty?
To the state. Then the junta was the authority in the state.
I mean, as far as the soldiers were concerned, was there in fact a distinction between the junta and the state?
The state, yes, that's what I said. I was showing my loyalty to the state.
By demonstrating to Peter that you can attack captured soldiers and malhandle them and maltreat them.
I regretted that.
At that stage, did you realize that what you were doing was wrong?
Immediately he was shot at. I regret why I was in that vicinity.
Did you regret at that stage what you did?
I even regret that I was in the stage. I was in the scene. I regret instantly the time he was fired. That's where I regret being part of the whole show. And that was never my intention.
And that was Sunday?
Sunday. Is it Sunday or Monday? I'm not sure.
Sunday. Was that the only arrest operation you were involved in?
Arrest Alaji Kebe.
Let's avoid overlapping speeches. Tell us what happened when you arrested, how you came to be involved in the arrest of Alaji Kebe.
Alaji Kebe, there was a call that this guy called, Jerry Sonko, I can remember, one time head of security at Civil Aviation, that there was a coupist in his house, either his house or neighborhood, they are not comfortable with. Then I went, when the call
Did he tell you which neighborhood?
The name of the individual?
Which neighborhood?
Banjulunding.
Let's proceed.
Banjulunding. Then,
step by step, who received that call?
I cannot remember who received the call, but the message came in. But I spoke to Jerry on the phone.
You spoke to Jerry
on the phone. That was a landline in anteroom in Fajara.
All right. And then after you received the call, we want to get this proper sequence of events. Tell us what happened after you received the call.
Then I received the call that this is in Fajara. Then Bach Samba Jalo came in with GNA 6, this four-seater, the four-seater Toyota Corolla, white color, which was assigned to Peter, came in with the vehicle. At the time this call was given, I called him that there is somebody we're supposed to arrest in Banjulunding. Can we go there? He said yes. Banjulunding.
So at this stage, you took it upon yourself to go and arrest this person at Banjulunding.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
At this stage, you did not receive any order from a superior officer.
No, I said the call was then Peter speak, and I spoke to the guy.
No, you did not mention that.
Do I?
You did not.
The list. Okay. I don't know.
You never mentioned that. I told you give us a good sequencing of events. You said the call came through. This person reported.
Yes.
You yourself, you went onto the phone and you spoke to the guy. And then thereafter, Bach Samba arrived with a vehicle.
Yes.
And you told Bach Samba, let us go. I have to arrest this guy.
Yes.
At what stage did you receive directives from a superior officer?
Then Peter was on the ground because Bach Samba came to collect Peter.
Yes, but Peter being on the ground does not equate to Peter giving you an order to go and arrest.
He didn't give me order at that point, but he was on the ground.
So you did not receive any order from a superior officer to go and arrest, correct?
But I was assigned that we and the INT and the military police were assigned to arrest. I think I said that initially. A list was brought.
Yes.
That was the order I received. Automatically, when this call came in, I taken upon myself to go and do it, because that was initial order.
Yes, this is the point I was going to establish.
Exactly.
That for this particular arrest, you did not receive any instructions to go and carry it out.
No, I rely on the other one.
You took it upon yourself to go and do it.
Do it, yes, sir.
But this event occurred after the arrest and brutalization of Medic Momodu Njai, correct?
Momodu Njai. I don't know which one first. I can't remember which one first. Maybe records can straighten that.
You were the one who was there.
Yes.
According to your statement, you arrested Njai. Thereafter, you went for Kebe. And thereafter, you went for Trawale. Do you accept that sequence?
Yes.
Okay. So now we finished with Njai. You accepted, you malhandled him. You brutalized him, you kicked him. Peter kicked him and shot him. You accept that was wrong, and you state that at that stage you regretted what you did.
Yes.
That's your, excuse me. That's your testimony.
Yes.
Okay, now let's move on to Kebe.
Chebe.
You received the phone call.
Phone call.
You took it upon yourself to go and arrest
him.
And you decided to go with Samba Baj.
Samba Baj.
Did you go with any other person?
I heard Kebe yesterday saying Kanilai was there, but I cannot remember whether Kanilai was, because we moved from Fajara. Because maybe when we reach guard rooms, that's why he saw him. But to me, I will not dispute what he says. But I can remember I'm the one who get into the house where Kebe was.
This is very important, Mr. Witness. This is very important. And continue with your narrative as to what happened with regards to Kebe. Your own perspective, tell us exactly what happened, and then we take it from there.
I said from Banyulunding, I cannot remember being with somebody apart from Baj. But I heard the witness in Kanilai was that means that is right. Kanilai was with us. But personally, I know I was the most senior on the ground when we arrested him, if there is any other. I get into the house. I found him.
How did you find the house?
I was told the house. You know, that time I told you initially I was living in Banyulunding.
So you knew?
I knew the house.
The house?
Yes.
But at this stage, were you living in Banyulunding?
I was living in Banyulunding prior to the coup. This is November. Up to the day, I have a house. In the day of the coup I moved to, when I transferred to Yundum, I have a house. But I live, even the day of the coup, I told you, that July 22nd. July 22nd, I moved from Banyulunding to the camp. That means then I know. That's a terrain I know.
Okay. So proceed.
I went to the house, get him out of the house. I'm the one who get him.
Tell us the circumstances, how it happened. Give us the full narrative of what happened.
I dragged him. I heard him, he said he'd meet me out. But for me...
don't tell us what he said.
Okay,
tell us what you said.
I think I dragged him out of from the bed, under the bed.
Start from the point you arrived at the house.
When I arrived at the house, they pointed the house where he was.
Who pointed the house?
No, these are civilians, I cannot remember, to be very candid. But the door was open.
Did you have a conversation with the civilian you found
Nobody.
there?
They just told us that this is the house.
Okay.
I think there is somebody, before I get in, there was somebody who get in. Then that's the time I saw him, then I personally dragged him out.
You saw him where?
Under the bed.
Under a bed?
Under a bed.
And then?
Drag him out.
And then what happened?
I can remember telling him, because in that time we were made to believe that if the coup succeed, all the operatives were going to be killed. Yes, because that's the message Peter gave us. That you don't know what is happening. If these people succeed, all of you are going to die. That is that day when he come in.
So you expected that you were also going to be killed if the coup had succeeded?
Yes. When I saw Alaji...
Did that have an impact on your conduct?
It has.
You were angry?
Yes, that has an...
You were furious with these people?
I was furious. That's why I have done things which is not the Lamin one should know.
So at this stage, you wanted to exert revenge on these guys?
Yes, that I was furious.
Okay. So tell us what happened.
When I dragged him out of under the bed, I took him to the car. I personally opened the boot of the car. When I opened the boot of the car, I told him to get in.
Do you have any conversation with him?
I just tell him, get into the car.
Before you left the house, did you have a conversation with him?
With him?
Yes.
I told him to get into the car.
While in the house, did you have a conversation with him?
I can't remember having a conversation with him apart from opening the boot for him to get in.
Why did you have to put him in the boot?
As I told you, that you can imagine, at that point, I told you I will not lie. I feel me and him in the boot, in the car, is not safe. If he should escape, the worst thing will come to me. I put him in the car, which I regret.
No. In your statement, you said he was stronger than you at the time.
This is what I'm saying.
And you feared that with just the two of you, in the car,
he can escape.
he can escape.
That's what I said.
Your suggestion in your statement is that it was just the two of you who
Yes.
did the arrest, yourself and Bachamba.
And by chamber.
Okay, let's hear what the witness have to say on that. But perhaps before that, let's talk about the journey.
I said that I heard him saying that. Maybe it's long time I forget.
Mr. Witness, let's be disciplined. Don't tell me what some other witness said, except if I ask you that. Tell us what you know
Exactly.
and what you did.
Yes.
All right. You brought him out. You asked him to go inside the boot of the car. How big was the boot of the car?
This is a Toyota Corolla. Toyota Corolla 4-seater.
It's a small car, a
small
sedan.
car. Yeah, about size of this table by wide or so.
Did he fit in there? Or you had to force him?
No, I don't
inside
force him, but he has squeezed himself to be able to, at least, I'm sure he's not comfortable. You cannot be comfortable in that place.
And then from there, what happened?
I drive to Yundum Barracks.
Did you go straight to Yundum Barracks? Did you go straight to Yundum Barracks?
Straight to Yundum.
At what time did you arrest him? What
This
time
is
of the
after
day?
5. This is after 5.
And what time did you arrive at the guard room?
Still, not more than 30 minutes.
Not more than 30 minutes.
It cannot be even 20
So
minutes.
that would be a short journey.
It's a very short journey.
Very short journey. I mean, there wouldn't be anything remarkable about such a journey, would it?
Yeah.
30 minutes journey.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's hear what the witness has to say about that. Technicians, kindly play the testimony of Alaji Kebe, please.
So from there, I went back. Then I performed my ablution, pray 5 o'clock prayers. Upon doing my supplementary prayers, that I heard the sound. Kapun Kebe, come out! Kapun Kebe, come out! So before getting out of the house, there is one civilian who came in. I don't know whether he came from these people who were shouting. So he just said, your people are here. So I walked out. I saw.
Could you pause it? Could you
Sergeant
pause it
Party.
there for the time being? Technician, can you pause it there for the time being? So you hear the witness.
Yes.
He said he walked out of the car,
Yes.
out of the house.
Yes.
Your version is you pulled him from under the bed.
Under the bed.
That's a
track him,
fundamental
yes.
difference.
Yeah.
But this is a witness who is not ashamed to say that you put him in the trunk of the car.
Yes.
Correct? Would he be ashamed, you think, to say that you fished him from under the bed?
No, I get him from under the bed.
But he is the person who is in the
He is the
receiving
victim, I
end.
know.
You think he would forget what happened to him, what you did to him?
He can never forget that.
Well, he can never forget that, of course. And that is why he is telling you that no, he was walking out of the house when you arrested him.
Yeah. This is just funny, but I just dragged him out under the bed.
Okay. All right, let's hear what the witness has to say about what happened afterwards.
I'm in party. Baj Samba Jaro, Lance Kopul, Jame Kanilai. I don't know the first name, whether it's Buba or Bakari, I don't know. But we used to call him Kanilai because it's a relative Jame. So they came with a small car. The one Peter or Edward was driving, those small Toyotas. So they said, I'm on arrest. I said, what? He said, that's what we are here just to arrest you. I said, okay. I wanted to board the vehicle. They said, no. They opened the boot and said, get inside.
Could you pause it there for a moment? So you can see in your narrative, the witness described exactly the type of car that you mentioned. So he's not forgetting the details, right? But he said, Kanilai was there.
Yeah, I said that. I said, you know, this is a long time, but because of the trauma, Alaji, I know him personally, I don't know his family. In that position, I cannot remember I was with somebody.
Okay, but you can remember certainly that you put him in the booth
I can remember
of the
that.
car because you thought
That's what I
he
regret.
was a threat.
Yes.
Isn't that a recent fabrication just to minimize it was to minimize the seriousness of the violations of this man's rights. So you try to give out an excuse for putting him in the boot when there was really no reason to do that.
No, I told you, at that stage and age, I have that error of judgment.
So it was an error of judgment,
yes,
and not that you feared that he would escape because you were alone.
At that stage, my conclusion was he can escape. But a reasonable man of my age today, I would not do that.
No, let's try to get the facts right. Did you put him in the booth because you were angry at him and you wanted to maltreat him? Or did you put him in the booth because you feared he would escape, you were alone to guard him?
If this is the two, I know I was angry, one. Two, he can escape. That's why I put him in the booth. But I definitely know that was wrong.
You know that was wrong?
I definitely know that was wrong, and that is still in me. I regret that.
Let's get it straight. At Fajara Barracks, you maltreated Mamadou Njai medic, and he was shot by Peter Singate in the process, correct?
Yes.
You told us that at that stage you regretted what happened.
Yes.
You said you regretted your own contribution in that.
Yes.
You went for your next victim. And this guy, this time around, you served this person in the trunk of a car. You said you were angry with him. You wanted to exert revenge. There was no regret. Was there?
You, Councilor, I wish you understand the situation at that time.
I am trying
you
to
will not understand, but I know how it was in those days.
It was all about, let's maltreat these people to the best or to your heart's satisfaction. That's what it was, wasn't it?
That's true.
You are agreeing with
I
that?
do agree.
So you put this person in the vehicle?
Yes.
In the trunk of the vehicle? You say you took him directly to Yundum Barracks.
To Yundum Barracks.
The journey took 30 minutes and no more.
Maybe less than that.
Maybe less than that. Let's hear what the witness has to say about that.
I get inside the booth. I was squeezed there, a very small booth, and they locked the booth. And
where was your family at this point?
my wife was standing right in front of the scene. Even Sergeant, that party, tell her that, sister, this man is just your husband. You can get another husband tomorrow.
Could you pause it at
in a
that,
sense,
please? Could you pause it at that? Do you recall
I can remember
that conversation?
I can remember that.
You agree that
I
happened?
agree. Because I know the wife personally. But what made me to say that up till this hour I cannot understand it.
But do you realize that out of this hearing, in our pre-hearing meeting, you told us that that conversation never took place? That this conversation with the wife never took place?
That was not a conversation. I said that out of what I cannot understand. I said it, but how
you are telling us now, but before, prior to this hearing, you told us that that conversation never took place. So you changed your mind?
No, I don't change. Council, I told you that, I even tell you because I don't want to argue. I even told you things like I don't beat him in the place, but I said I will because I cannot. Somebody you arrest and put him in the boots. Reasonably, if that guy should say you beat him, you say no, people will be laughing at you. But it has not. That's why I said yes.
See,
I said
Witness,
that to the lady.
Mr. Witness, we are only interested in the truth. Don't feel pressured to say something that is not the truth.
Exactly.
That is not the purpose of this exercise. We are only interested in the truth. Prior to the hearing, you told us that that conversation never occurred. Now you are accepting that that conversation occurred. You told the wife that she can get another husband.
That's my point. I said so to her.
Would you agree that that was a very callous statement to make?
I do.
Do you regret
accept it? I accept it. I regret it. That's why.
But, Mr. Witness, you knew the victim before this particular day, didn't you?
Yes.
And how would you describe your relationship before this day?
This is a man I told you. He never called me by my name. He called me bro. But it's circumstances at the time.
What was your relationship like?
We are like brothers. This wife will dish food for us. That's why we all eat.
So you used to eat from his house?
From his house.
And that is the friend you treated in this manner?
That's why I'm saying it, because circumstance. I was a long soldier, lance corporal. If you are compelled to do certain things, you might do it beyond.
But you recall, you did not receive any specific order to go and carry out this particular arrest. You recall that?
If you can remember, I told you the list was given and we are supposed to arrest, and the word was given to me.
Mr. Witness, we had settled this point
Yes.
before. We had agreed that you were not given any particular order to go and arrest this particular witness, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now you went to arrest this witness, you realize that this is no stranger to you. This is a close friend of yours, as you describe him. This is a person from whose house you used to eat. Didn't you feel obliged to treat him with decency?
I feel, but at that time, as I tell you, the ego in me at that position, I cannot understand. If as a human being, where I am today, I cannot look at a human being and do that today. But that age and time, you can imagine this is 25 years back of my age. And as a young soldier, I think this country will understand that. I don't do that. I don't do that willfully. I don't do it willfully. I regret why I do that.
What I'm trying to establish is, perhaps, maybe today you regret.
Yes.
At that stage, you did not regret. Because let's look at what happened. You treated Njai Medic terribly. He was shot.
Yes.
As part of a transaction of maltreatment by you and Peter Singate. You agree with that?
Yes.
Then you moved on to your next victim, who happened to be a close friend of yours. You also maltreated him. So you, at this stage, you were not regretting your conduct, correct?
I do. You see?
Now you do.
Even in
at
those
that
days,
stage, did you?
In that stage, after all these things, I regret. That's why I even find where Alaj was. After happening all this.
No, we are not talking about the after. We are talking about that time.
No, that time I don't regret it.
You were drunk with power.
Yeah, that's true.
You agree? You were drunk with power. Oh, you could do anything and get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's now pursue the discussion to see what happened from when you left Banjulding to Yundum. Let's hear what the witness has to say about that.
Going to kill me, I don't know. You see, but that he uttered that word to my wife.
Were they armed?
They, of course, yes. All of them were with AK-47.
What time of the day was this?
It was a little after 5, going towards 6.
Could you pause it at that? So you see, you would agree with the witness that it was a little after 5, going to 6.
Like I said.
So yes, that is exactly what you said. So you would agree that the witness was conscious as to what the time was at the time of his arrest, correct? Let's hear what he has to say next.
Were you restrained before asked to enter the booth?
Well, can you repeat
You restrained in any way before asked to enter the boat?
No. They don't do anything to me. They just ask me to get inside the boat. So I squeezed myself in there, and they locked it.
How big was the boot of that car?
It was terrible. It was terrible. Very small size. And grown up somebody like me, squeezing himself inside that small car, the boat. It was terrible. And they locked it after. It was more terrible than even what you can say. Because even animals, you don't lock them inside those boats.
Pause
much
it
more
there.
human being.
Would you agree with the witness that even your animals, you don't?
I do.
You agree?
I said that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Could you proceed?
So what happened after they locked the boot?
I'm in another world because I don't know what is going on. From time to time, I was just realizing we could move. Sometimes I realized it stopped. That's how I was. It was a long time. All of a sudden, I learned the vehicle stopped. That stop was quite, at least a little time, ranging from 15 to 20 minutes, but I was still inside the boot. Then they opened. I look at them, they look at me, they said, "Couple Quebec, come down." So,
Can you estimate how long you were in that boot before it stopped?
it was a long time. It was a long time. The estimation was the time I was entering the guard room. That's the time I raised my head and said, and the clock was 10 minutes to 10.
Could you pause it there? So you see, the witness is giving you an exact time of when he entered the guard room. And he said it was 10 minutes to 10.
And I do. But I know he was in, as he said, he was in a different world. He might not know, but I am telling you, it's Banjulunding. It's only the school, the police training school, where the compound is and the camp.
Mr. Witness, this victim is telling you that you put him in the boot of a vehicle at some minutes past 5 p.m.
Yes.
And you took him out as 10 minutes to 10. Or is it 10 minutes past 10?
It's 10 minutes to 10.
10 minutes to 10. You think the witness didn't know what happened? That's your suggestion?
No, to me, at that time, I don't think there's a reason to put him in the boot and be walking around. That would not be reasonable of me.
Yes, Mr. Witness, you told us that your purpose was to exact revenge. Wasn't that what you said?
I said that.
Your purpose was to dehumanize him.
Exactly.
Your purpose was to torture him. That's what was your purpose. So you drove around town with him, keeping him in the boot for 5 hours, just to torture him. That's what you did. Accept your responsibility.
I do accept. I accept in totality.
You agree you put him in the boot for 5 hours?
I will disagree with that, but I put him on the boot in order to make him suffer, which I don't like. But 5 hours was too much. I have to be very candid, plain to you. 5 hours too much from Banjulundin to this place.
Of course, that would be too much. But your purpose wasn't to drive straight to the barracks. Your purpose was to drive around to make him suffer even more.
No, with 5 hours with that condition, I don't think at the time I have that heart to put him there 5 hours going continuously.
Yeah, but you had the heart to put him in the truck nonetheless. You had the heart to make sure that he suffered.
Really? I'm sorry.
Do you know what eventually happened to him while in the custody of the members of the junta in the guard room?
No, in the guard room we are there. I think he was shown a chair to sit down. Whilst there, I think Edward was interrogating him. Then he told me, he told him that you are part of this. He said, "No, sir, how can I be part of it? I cannot be part of this thing." There and there, I had palm on the leg, on his leg.
And what happened when you had that pump?
Edwards personally shot him.
Edward who?
Edward Singate.
Okay, now let's look at what happened. Njai, you got him to crawl. You manhandled him with Peter. And then what happened?
You shot him.
Who shot him?
Peter.
Now, your close friend, Alaji Kebe, you bundled him, put him in a truck, made him suffer. You take him to the guard room, and then what happened?
Edward shot him.
Did you regret what happened?
I more than regret. More than regret.
Are you sure you regret?
I do.
Did you regret it at that time?
I regret it up till now.
Let's see what you do when you regret things. Did you stop or did you continue?
From where?
Arresting people?
No, that's why we stopped, because Tarawale was arrested prior to that, I believe. I don't know. The timeline is my problem, but I think Tarawale was arrested before these people.
Okay, let's see what happened with regards to Tarawale.
Tarawale, yes.
That's what happened.
I went to collect Tarawale myself, Peter, and Baj in Bundun.
Baj who?
Baj Sambajalo.
And which Peter?
Peter Singate.
Tell us what happened.
We went to Bundung in his house. Then there Tarawale came out. The wife I know, Satan. They all came out.
How did you come to know his wife?
We all live in Bahamas.
So you all interacted?
We all interacted.
You all had a relationship? All right.
Then when he come out, then Peter explained to him that he's under arrest. He said yes. When we came out, I thought, as I told you, whether a trauma or what, then I opened the boot for him to go in. Then Peter said no, let him get in. Then he get in. I sat this way. Peter was sitting in front. Then we drive to Yundum. And from there... Was Tarawale beaten? Tarawale in the house. I don't, I don't beat him. He was not beaten there because Peter has human. I can see that place. That's the only place I saw Peter got a human face, because from there. And
at other times, what face did he have?
It's different. At that place, he said no. He's not going into the boot.
What face did he have?
No, that's different.
Different from human.
Different from human. What I saw in.
And what would that be?
Maybe. Because of the wife was standing?
No. Answer the question.
You say what?
You said that was the first time you saw Peter had a human face.
Yes.
At other times, what face did he have?
It's different.
Different, like and therefore would be what?
Worst.
If it is different from human, what would it be?
Inhuman.
Inhuman,
yes.
You said. That's what you said?
Yes.
Those are your words?
Yes, that's my word.
All right. So, are you telling us, you are on the oath?
Yes.
Are you telling us that Traore was not beaten?
In the position of arrest, he was not beaten.
When you put him in the vehicle, he was not beaten?
He was not beaten.
That is your testimony?
That's my testimony. Sometimes I look funny, but I don't know. But he was
well,
not beaten.
If you do not believe yourself, do you think I will?
Believe in my more than anything.
Why is it funny to you then?
No, because I am alone.
Because it doesn't make sense, isn't it?
Verily, it makes sense.
Okay.
I don't beat him, and I don't see anybody beating him.
Before you came to testify, in our pre-hearing meeting, you told me that O2 Traore was beaten.
I told you that? I told you that, me and you?
Yes. You did.
Sure.
So, but that's the important thing is speak the truth, because it's only the truth that will set you free. If you don't speak the truth about that, O2 Traore could come here to testify, or we can have a statement from him. And don't tell me that A would be true if Y says it. Tell me the truth about what happened.
I told you I beat Njai. I kicked him. I put this guy in the boot. I wanted to put Tarawale in the boot. Peter said, no, I don't have it, because that demoralized me.
Did you hit Tarawale?
I don't hit him. The wife
Did you kick him?
I don't kick him.
Did you malhandle him?
I don't malhandle him.
So O2 Traore went to Yundum Barracks
Untouched.
untouched.
Exactly.
That is your testimony.
That's my testimony, Counsel.
Was he stripped?
No, the moment I put it in the guard room, I'm gone. Because that was the last
Was
event.
he stripped from
Not in my
his
presence.
point of arrest?
No.
He
come
was
out with
treated
civil.
like a gentleman.
Yes. For him, he worked for the car.
So for the first time, any of your victims
Yes.
is treated like a
For
gentleman.
the first time, he worked for himself. I told you I will not lie. I opened the boot for him to be there. Because in those days, I feel that's the only safe place because he can escape. Then Peter said, no, not let him come. Then I can remember, he opened the door by the door. He get in, Peter just said, and then I went around the other side, I sit down. But he was not beaten.
Okay. So you took him to Yundum.
Yundum.
And then what happened after
That's
that?
enough me. From that day, when I left, that's the evening now. Because after Kebe, we went for him. Then if Kebe should say, if Kebe should say that I was 5 hours 10 o'clock, and he didn't come with Tarawale in the same vehicle, and we do the arrest in the same day, and it's after Kebe we arrest Tarawale, that would be funny. That would be really funny. From Kebe 5, we went to arrest Tarawale. If I was roaming 10 o'clock with the same vehicle, and the vehicle we arrest Tarawale, Kebe, the same vehicle we arrest Tarawale, the same day, that would be funny.
It's not funny because by your testimony, you believe Tarawale was arrested before Kebe.
The same day they are all arrested, but Kebe was arrested after 5. Tarawale was like after 6 to 7. Daylight, if I can remember. These are, as I told you from the start, timeline is my problem. But the same day they are all arrested.
Just hold a second and give me a moment. Let me consult with my colleagues. Mr. Witness, in fact, we have a statement from WO2 Abdullah Tarawale. And let me read out the statement to say what he says. He says in paragraph 2, the soldiers came and surrounded the whole compound. I was put in the vehicle and locked in the boot. At the time of the arrest, Peter Singate was the one leading the group of soldiers that came to arrest me. My wife and other neighbors begged them not to put me in the boot, but they refused. They took me to Yundum Barracks and locked me in the cell. They stripped me of all my clothes except my underwear. That is what Abdullah Tarawale has to say. Is he lying?
Verily, I told you, I opened the boot. If I put him in the boot, I would say it. I opened the boot.
The question is he lying?
He is lying.
So, Mr. Witness, as far as you are concerned, all the witnesses who came here and testified about the same things in which you claim to have been involved, they're all lying. You are the only one speaking the truth.
I don't know for what reason, but this particular thing, I don't really reason why I should say I put Chebe in the bush when I put it there. I don't put this guy because I was Peter.
It's because you may wish to minimize your responsibility.
I have already done.
You commit 5 crimes, you say, okay, let me accept 1 or 1.5, and I deny the others. Minimize your responsibility.
There is nothing worse than putting it's the same. There is nothing worse than putting him there, which I accept.
Well, putting 2 in the boot is worse than putting 1 in the boot, isn't it?
Yes, but still, if I put him in the boot, I will say it.
But do you think O2 Tarawale would be lying about how he was arrested?
This is just
This statement, in fact, I completely forgot that we had taken a statement from O2 Traore. This statement was taken a long time ago, before all these hearings started. O2 Traore didn't know that you were going to come here and deny that he was put in the boot. You think he's fabricating this?
I don't know for what reason. But as I told you...
Mr. Witness, are you having selective memory here? You deliberately forget certain things just to minimize, help yourself reconcile with issues, minimize responsibility?
No. No, Counsel. If I do it, I will tell you.
Are you deliberately misleading the Commission by telling us that you did not put O2 Traore in the boot?
If I mislead this, I cannot mislead this Commission. That's the version of Traore.
Well, this is a statement we have received on the 7th of January 2019. And Traore said the arresting party put him in the boot.
I was part of that arresting party.
And you are the one, according to your testimony, who attempted to put him in the boot.
I even opened the boot.
Well, he said he was put in.
Then likely, I don't know, but for me, what I can recall, I opened the boot, Peter said no. Peter said no. I can fully remember that. Peter said no. He opened the door. I can even, like, the car was like this, Bundung, in their street. The car was standing like this. Peter said no. He walked by get into the right door of the car. I can still remember. The right door of the car. Peter sat by the outside, I sit the other side. We are only three, not even soldiers.
Well, the witness said he did not enjoy that luxury.
And that's the luxury he enjoyed. He is the only guy who enjoyed that luxury between me and my God.
So when he spoke to us in January, he was lying about being put in the boot.
If I can take responsibility, me alone.
But Mr. Witness, this was modus operandi. This was standard operating procedure
of mine.
Not just you, but of all the soldiers.
Yes.
Those who were arrested were being put in the boot of a car.
Exactly.
And you want to tell me that this was a departure from that procedure?
If I said, tell you one thing, I as a senior person, I took responsibility of putting Alakebe in the boot. Why should I exonerate myself on the command, putting somebody on the boot, inside boot?
You heard Alaji Kebe testify.
Yes.
You did not hear WO2 Traore testify.
Look at my statement. I wrote my statement sometimes in February. I said I put Alakebe in the boot. Do I? It is in my statement.
Wasn't it easy? Wasn't it easy?
Voluntarily, those who took my statement, I tell them. Nobody asked me how he is arrested. Nobody asked me. I wrote that before Ignite.
So let's get it clearly. All these people who testified about you, they lied.
They lied.
You're the only one telling the truth about your activities and your involvement.
My activities. As I told you, Counsel, I'm not here to tell you just to feel I'm exonerating myself. But I'm telling you, whatever we say it here, we'll say it again. And I can tell you this.
Let's talk about what is happening here.
Now, this is what I'm telling you. Whatever I tell you here, know that it's between me and God. I'm seeing God, nothing else. Between me and God. Okay. What I do, I will tell you. If I alone, as a senior man, I can put Alakebe in the boat without knowing what Alakebe was going to say. You know, I told you that without knowing what Alakebe was going to say, I wrote that I put him in the boat.
Okay, Mr. Witness, let's proceed. We are running out of time. We have only one issue to address, and then we will take our break. After all these events perhaps Alaji Kebe, you know he was shot, you know he spent time in prison. Did you meet him?
I met him several times.
After after all these events?
I met him several times.
Can you tell us what happened after your meetings?
I met him I went to visit him in his house.
Did you apologize to him for what you did?
Because still we don't talk about it, because it is something in me I cannot talk.
So you did not apologize to him?
Yes, but when I came here, when I gave my statement, I told them, those who took my statement, that I want them to arrange so that I will meet him. Not only him, with even Traveler and others.
So that was in 2019, wasn't it?
In 2019.
So 25 years down the line, you want to apologize to him?
Yes.
But even after all these events, you've been seeing him over the years.
No, I visited him up to his house.
But you never apologized?
And we met in clinics. I pay a bill for him.
But you never apologized?
I have never apologized, because that is a guilty sentence. That's implied, showing that I regret what I have done. That's why all along I was looking for him.
But at least now you are willing to reconcile with him?
More than willing.
You're willing to apologize
More
to
than
him?
willing to apologize.
You're also willing to apologize to Njai?
Njai, Abu Trawale.
Why would you apologize to Abu Trawale? After all, your claim is you didn't do anything. Let's not overlap. You claim you didn't do anything to him. All you did was arrest him.
Yes, I arrested him in presence of his family.
But he says that this arresting party, to which you include yourself, maltreated him by putting him in the booth. Would you apologize to him?
If he said that.
Well, he said it.
Yes, I will apologize to him. Because in the first place, why should I be there? But I know I was there and I was under command. And to be very candid, I'm alone, I'm going to my grave. I opened the boat. Peter said he should not go there.
Okay, now let's move on to other issues. You became a bodyguard to Edward Singate.
Yes.
Could you tell us what happened with regards to the departure of the president, then President Yahya Jammeh, for the AU summit in Ethiopia?
Ethiopia or Egypt? It should be Egypt, I think.
I think it was perhaps the same. He went to Egypt and then Ethiopia.
Because I can remember he was.
But tell us what happened at that time.
I can remember that fateful day at the airport. We went to the airport. That day I was on duty. The badge everybody knows was not the driver at this time, because he was shot. He went to Casamas, I think. He has an issue with cannabis. Who was coming, he was stopped, he refused, and he was fired. Then they attacked one Abdul Barajo from, I think, Abdul Barajo. He's still serving, I believe, to Edward. He was the driver. We went to airport to see the president off. After the press, Abdul Balajo, I think, is from Badibu or from Janjambure.
Okay. From where did you go to the airport?
From Cape House.
All right.
In Bakau.
What time?
This was after 8, because the president was departing at 9, coming at 9. It's like 7:30 to, it was dark, still dark. But actually, I can't remember the time. But I think the president coming was like scheduled at 9, but normally there will be some delays. Then we went to the airport. After the president's arrival, or president's departure, we were driving home, supposed to go to, how do you call it again? Cape House, all at a traffic light. Then I saw the driver just being on the left, towards Kotu. Then we drive towards Senegambia, up to Yankuba Toure's house. Then Edward dropped. When before Edward dropped, when the car stopped, Marong, the bodyguard, normally Edward will always ride in the front, and Marong will be sitting back. Then I was sitting this way. He opened the door and saluted him, thinking that we are all going down. Then when Marong saluted him, he said, "No, Marong, LS, you can relax. Relax, you go home." We left him there. We went to the house. That is Yankuba's house.
You went to which house?
The Cape House.
And which house did you leave him at?
I live in Cape House.
No, which house did you leave Edward Singate?
Yankuba's house.
Yankuba who?
Ture.
At the time, what position did he hold, if you could recall?
Yankuba was the minister Minister of Local Government.
At the time, he was a member of the council.
Council.
Okay. And did you see Edward again that night?
I don't see him again till the following day.
Kindly tell us what happened.
The following day, the time I saw him was Maron who told me that we are supposed to go to a burial. Prior to burial, then there was this information, there was a vehicle burned out somewhere in Fajara, somewhere in Jambur, in the bush. Because you know there are guards at the time. Then when LS came, I asked him, he said, yes, I'm from Oga. He told me that there is a minister's vehicle burned somewhere in the bush. And
who is Oga in this context?
Edward.
So he told you, therefore, that Edward told
him that there is a vehicle burned, the minister's vehicle, but details are yet to come out. But he's in touch with the army commander at the time. Then there, after some times, around 2, 3, we are called that we are supposed to go for a burial in Dipakunda. Then the Imam Kalijate was alive. Then we drove. When we
Who went with you?
I went with Edward, again with Maron. And then I think the same driver, Abdul Balajo. When we arrived on the ground, that was another serious day. From that day, I hate to become oddly. Then I reduced my stairs. That's why I was even transferred, I believe. Because people, what they were saying, like they were insulting, saying all sorts of things.
Tell us exactly what you heard.
They were insulting, you are here, killers, this, that. If you don't come.
What is this, that? Tell us what you heard.
I cannot repeat everything. We are killers, and without vehicles coming, they are not going to bury this corpse. I can fully remember one bus, in fact, was saying, plainly with Mike.
Saying what?
Saying that, yes, this is your corpse, it's here. Without you, we are not going to bury it. And Imam Jaite, Al Jaite, reiterated that to Edward. So if we don't come, we are not going to bury this man.
Yeah, but you were already there.
Yes.
So what was the suggestion that was being made by all these speakers?
That it was killed by the council. That's the notion.
And how did you feel at the time?
Very bad.
So at that stage, were people saying where this killing occurred?
They know, they said it is at Jambur. But after that, the serious thing after that, it is written everywhere in the papers. Like I'm telling you, that's why sometimes investigations will take years and they will reveal themselves. There are a lot of write-ups. A freedom, in this particular fatigue was written as I like sitting like this. I'm sitting. One picture, I don't know whether they got it, was posted on Freedom that I'm part of people who kill Korosise. I've been living.
So the minister you're referring to?
Mr. Korosise.
So you said the corpse that was to be buried, or the remains that were to be buried, was Minister Korosise?
Korosise.
That's right. Okay. Proceed.
And it is written everywhere. When I'm working, I know the family members of Koro. The sister was married to a colleague in the army. And when I'm working, people are looking at me like you are looking at me. I was in the bush killing my own brothers. It would be surprising to this August gathering that my own blood brother was killed in that bush. Amadou Silla. Our grands are the same mom and dad. I am not the son who will witness killing my own brother. There is nobody on the face of earth who can urge me to kill my brother. I'm living with that. The papers wrote that I'm part of those who could kill Korosise. And today I'm here.
So in that particular issue, your role, according to you, is limited to dropping off Edward Singate at the house of Yankuba.
And
that is your testimony.
At that point, nobody dreamt of what is going to that can happen in this country. Not me thinking that will happen.
Worse had happened already.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I cannot imagine that can happen in that house that night. Moreover, joining people.
Did you and your colleagues suspect that your boss was involved in that killing?
when they were accusing me that killing, that means people are suspecting all of us. When
the question is, did you suspect your boss as having been involved in that killing?
Why I suspected the following day, I think that following day, Peter has bandages all over his hand. But
why that bandage?
Bond. He has bond, and he has bandages. People have seen that.
Did you see it?
I saw it. But who can
Did that reinforce your belief that they were responsible?
That can reinforce when Alaji Kanyis told, he said that the people who were present, when he mentioned them, that ring a bell, that's true, because I can see. And that vehicle was burned. If Peter is burned, it might be in the place.
Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. I have no further questions for this witness. But before we leave, do you remember being present at the prison on 6th of September?
6th of September. As I said, I have no cause to
1994.
6th of September.
With Edward Singate?
No, at that time, September 96.
94.
No, September 94, me in
Did
the
you participate in the torture of Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Chongan at the time, no. RSM Babukar Jeng, and Major Malik Njai? Momar Cham, Captain Momar Cham.
Momar is my commander. We from Nyomi. If you consult him, none of those people will tell you they saw me. None of them will tell me.
The question is not whether they saw you there. The question is whether you participated.
I didn't participate.
Do you realize that RSM Jeng, in fact, let me rephrase it. You know RSM Jeng, didn't you?
I know him very well.
So he wouldn't mistake you for anybody?
RSM Jeng, I told you. See,
answer the question.
RSM Jeng cannot mistake me for anybody.
What do you say to the suggestion that RSM Jeng indicated that you were present at the prisons and you participated in his torture and the torture of his colleagues on the night of 6 September 1994?
No, I heard him saying it, but I participated. He said I was there participating in his torture, one-to-one. Nobody will say that I participated in torturing him physically.
Okay, were you there?
I was not there.
So this accusation also you deny?
I deny. But if I can give you something.
Don't give me anything. Just tell us what
I will
you
tell
have
you
to say.
something.
Go ahead.
These are events big happen. People who are attached to Edward, they are alive. At the time, I cannot follow Edward when I am not assigned to him. That's what I want people to understand. I cannot follow Edward. Army doesn't work like that. I cannot follow Edward when I'm not assigned to him.
Did you follow Peter?
No,
on
Peter.
On the date, on the 13th of November 1994?
Peter came to my location.
Did you follow Peter?
I followed him. He came to my location.
Were you assigned to Peter?
But it was an order.
Were you assigned to Peter?
I was not assigned to him, but he is the one who instructed me to go with him as a senior.
Okay. Couldn't Edward have instructed you to go with him as your senior?
I will follow him.
Exactly.
Yes.
The allegation is that you were there with Peter Singate, Edward Singate, excuse me, not Peter, Edward Singate, on the night of 6 September at the prisons, and you tortured
the people who
these
are there.
officers.
People who are there, they are alive. Not, I'm saying Babukar Jeng. People who went there. I want you to look at, if at all you...
Do you realize that from that day onwards, Babukar Jeng was in prison and he could not know where you were assigned? Do you realize that?
Babukar knows me.
Babukar said you tortured him. You participated in his torture. You were present.
No. But
I leave it at that, Mr. Witness. We can't continue to argue. I have no further questions for the witness. I'll hand him over to the commissioners to ask whatever questions they deem necessary. Thank you very much, Mr. Fati, for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Council. Thank you, Mr. Fati, for your testimony. One quick question before I turn to the commissioners. Whose burial did you go for in Jambur? And did the burial eventually take place? I might have forgotten what you said.
I don't understand.
Not Jambur. Ah, okay, sorry. I thought it was Jambur that you had gone for some burial.
Dipakunda.
Dipakunda.
Korosise.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Fati, Commissioner Kinte, my first puzzle in your deliberations is that you said when you went to arrest Jai, you tortured. Of course, for that one, you did not show remorse at that start. But when immediately Peter shot him, you regretted all your moves. You even thought you had never participated in it. Now, if that holds, I cannot understand why you, without order, will go to arrest Alaji Kebe and even go further, putting him in a boot so inhumanly, and so on. That's one thing. I want you to comment how you feel that. You regretted Njai's arrest because of the malhandling to the extreme end of shooting him. And that you said you regretted, you thought you had never participated in such. What drove you or motivated you, to go and arrest Alaji, just subsequent?
As I told you, I was given an order prior to that of Njai that we should arrest people whose names were in that list. For the Alaji, there was a call, and I was in the ground. I went. But as I told you, Council Kinte, this happened at a time. Lamin Fati sitting before you today is not Lamin Fati at the time. This at my youthful age, a trained soldier, and in a revolutionary environment, under order.
Can you hold on? What confuses me is that you said, you remarked that you had regretted the preceding event. I thought you would either refrain absolutely, or you will be mild with your treatment. Like you could simply say, sit inside and we sit. Even say, look, please, this is an order. It's not my will, and please forgive me for taking you, but I have to because it's an order. Then we could understand that you had remorse for the previous action and that you don't want repetition. Again, from that one, the third arrest also, you opened the boot.
Yeah.
Even the most human you believe among the inhuman was the one who said, bring him forward and not in the boat. So I'm confused if you told me you had regretted in Jai's case and then you continue on the same trend and you express the same anger continuously. That consistency tells me that you had no remorse before. That's one. My second point is that you went to Edward's place at night and jumped. Even if you are going to be gone or you engage in exchange, you will still go in to seek sanctuary and so on. And then early in the morning, you receive radio information that there was a shootout in which some soldiers lost their life. If I recall, I think you were a military police or a military intelligence. I think from that point, what I suppose was going to be going out to sea and collect information, data, as to what had been transpiring in your absence that you could not get, and how you connected with that morning until at a certain point. What was the point in sitting in Edward's house until 3-4 p.m. as an intelligence officer?
As I told you, there was uncertainty. The second day of the coup, there was no activity. Everybody was at home. Almost everybody was at home. Only few who were in the guard rooms on duties. Because if that night, many people went home. Because if these council members meet you in that barracks in that night, you are considered to be coupists. That's why others are arrested even in Yundum.
Okay, hold on. I'm not saying that night. You have told us clearly you went to seek sanctuary.
Yes.
So it's not that night, absolutely. I'm saying in your safe zone, you learned that there were firing exchanges in which some soldiers lost their life. I am arguing that as an intelligent personnel, I expected you to be curious or obliged to go and find out what was the state of affairs over the stretch of your absence, which is night to morning, the announcement, and make connections, and then henceforth what could be your responsibility. But I said instead you sat down comfortably in that safe zone, well, I'm no more calling it safe zone after morning announcement, in that house for a couple of hours until 3-4 p.m. What is the justification, you think, as an intelligent?
The justification here is, my going there, I want to feel that my presence, because that's why I wait for Edward. Because when I left, there can still be that distance, but I waited till Edward was in, and then I know what happens. And then everything was cleared. Then I went back to my barracks.
And you didn't trust that the mother would have faithfully, if you had said, Mom, tell Edward I was here to seek sanctuary, but because I have this announcement and my role is to collect intelligence, I am going out to continue my responsibility. Let him know that I was not in the camp and I slept here. You didn't trust the mother or Canton to have relayed that message, and then you continue.
At that time, I feel there was no intelligence I can collect. Okay. Because there is complete uncertainty. Okay. The only thing I can wait is when everything is down, I go back to barrack like other soldiers do. But I tried, because as an intelligent operative, that's why that Saturday afternoon I went back to the barracks.
After Edward?
After Edward left. That's the time I went back to barracks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Lamin Fati.
Yes, sir.
You narrated that you went to your boss's house. That was, I think, Captain Edward Singate. You didn't meet him, but you stayed there until he came. And upon arrival, he hugged you. Now, is that not a show of, appreciation of loyalty to a junior staff?
Yes.
You agree it was a show of appreciation of loyalty to a junior staff? Then that being the case, you have already showed loyalty to your boss. How will you then just abandon him just like that and disappear and went home?
No, I think if we can see this at this angle, it's not Edward as a person. This is state minister responsible for defense. And at the time, as I told you, there was uncertainty in the barracks. I cannot stay in the barracks because I don't know who is who. Then that's why I moved to his house. When he come back, I'm sure because the mother, having me and Marina, he was happy when he told me to appreciate that. But having done that, when he come after lunch, I feel I should go back to my barracks. Week I did, I went back to the barracks. But not that showing loyalty to Edward, not Edward as a person.
I am not referring to him as a person. I referred to him as your boss, yes, as the Minister of Defense and I think Vice Chairman of Council at the time.
No. Then he was Minister of Defense.
Okay, Minister of Defense. Now, having showed that loyalty, I think it would have been in place for you to keep on that your loyalty by accompanying him to the rest of the operation for that day.
If I was urged, because you know, they are using a vehicle, they are using a 4-seater Toyota. He's there, Peter was there, his orderly was there. I don't think if that is, even if you want to take me, I don't think I can fit in. As a minister, you cannot congest his car because he doesn't have a backup car. Backup car is only given to vice president. Even when he was vice president, he was not using it because he restricts himself to this thing. That's why anytime two will be there, even when he was vice president. When Sana was there, he has convoy. But for Edward, he doesn't have convoy. He always has two. Because I moved to Edward after when Sana was arrested in January, then around June, I was moved to Edward. Going to Edward, meaning because maybe he reflected that that very day I was with his family. Because I don't know him before. Edward joined the army when I was in Liberia. I came in and found him as a cadet, 91, 92, whatever. Then there was no formal relation between me and him. But my judgment that night to go there because he's the minister and there was uncertainty in the camp.
Thank you. Deputy Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you, Officer. I have got two questions. The first one is related to your work as intelligence officer in 1994. You were supposed to provide intelligence. And yet, the news about the planned coup was given to you by a third party. You did not have that intelligence. Also, for November 1994, you did not have the intelligence. Somebody else informed you. So what type of intelligence were you providing? I really want to know.
No, with regards to 1994 coup, it was like, as I told you, it is like, it is planned, but they will avoid the intelligence at that time. The intelligence at that time, anybody who was close to the intelligence would not know. It will come from a third party. That's why this Nigerian told me, because he got it from me. But personally, I didn't have it from any source. My first source was my own senior warrant officer, a Nigerian, who is the one. He's the one who told me. From there, I told you this Mendy from Daranka came to my house in Banjul, the same thing, which I related to my 002, and when we went to the commander at the time and informed the commander about it. In 1994, it was not like intelligence anymore. This one was a rumor and soldiers' dissatisfaction. It was a rumor and soldiers' dissatisfaction, and everybody is aware. That's why the council members had to come and address it. But they don't come to Fajara because before they move from Yundum, it become late. Fajara, we don't have that opportunity. Okay, when this couple came from Yundum to evacuate his family and told me, I have no other option there, I know that keeping that information now, that is a fresh information, I would say reliable. Sitting on it, who am I going to inform at that night in the barracks? Nobody. Because the armory was broken into, people are armed. You don't know who is A, who is B. Then I, with my own judgment, I went to Edwards. I was thinking I was going to meet him in the house, but it was night. That's why I went to his house. When I don't meet him there, that's why I sit till in the morning when he come in the afternoon.
So, in short, you are intelligence officers who have no capability of gathering intelligence. That's what you are saying.
We do there are intelligence which are overt. These are intelligence which are overt. It was everywhere. Everywhere. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now the other one is in relation to your emphasis on your youthful age. You keep on saying that you were young, that is why you acted in the manner in which you acted. You are not the first officer who has come here and told us that they acted in the way that they did because of their youthful age. This is a very dangerous message that is being sent, that it is risky to employ young people in the army because in times of emergency, they cannot be trusted to act responsibly and in a professional manner. Is that what you're saying?
I think in my conclusion, I wanted to mention that not necessarily youthful age, but when we are recruiting, we should look at average people when it comes to education. Education, especially in the modern armies, is very important. If we should recruit people in the army who are ill-equipped or they are not educated, those are the people they will use. In anything, the less educated ones are the ones the authorities will use. Then that's why I concur with you. With our education at that time, people who at the time with their O levels or their diplomas, they will expect without doing anything, they'll become ministers or they can be anything. But the redundants who just from secondary school at the time, before you actualize yourself to do other things so that you can move forward, will be the victim of people who will use them to abuse their power so that they can have recognition. And I am one of those at the time. That's why when I regret all these things, I went back to school. I know it's only education we can elevate you. And that's why after my A levels and diploma, I was commissioned. I regretted be a party to all this which happened. And I regret it to the best of my, I think I'm short of words to express it. But this is a country which belongs to all of us. The only thing we can forge ahead is we, the people who are seen to be perpetrators of those. We are Gambians. We are from families. And we owe that obligation, or we owe that apologies to the people. But one thing I will re-emphasize is I've never witnessed or be party to fire or shoot somebody. My own brother, our two grands had the same mom and dad, is a victim in this whole thing. I'm part of that family. People are looking at me, but I'm so, even not in this, on this earth, I'll be vindicated. Because if there is no way I can be party to kill on my own brother. And I indulge this commission to look at us. Let this Honorable Commission has a human face and give us pardon. I regret. And I will urge anybody coming here to say the truth, nothing but the truth. Whatever you witness, I urge, people are looking at me. Some people are not even mentioned, but they know things. Some people, some of us, because we serve, people are seeing us everywhere, still in the army. That's why. But there are people who are with us. Their names are never mentioned because they left in the army. They may be other places. I cannot even remember some of those orderlies. You will see people will be telling orderlies assigned to Edward, which was not the case. They will assign people to Yankuba, which was not the case. This is 25 years back. Let's continue our investigations before innocent people are victimized. I'm appealing to all Gambians to come out. If not, innocent people will be victimized. And I state my innocence as far as killings in this country are concerned. All whatever I participated, wholeheartedly I've said it. There is nothing I fear on the face of earth. I saw Allah. I pray my prayers and do everything between me and my God. My mother is aging, is looking at me where I am today. I don't think what he told me this morning, before I come here, I can come here and lie. But I am urging these investigators, let them investigate the number of vehicles we went to that bush that day. Let them know the number of vehicles that went to that bush that day, the occupants of each vehicle, and people who descend from vehicles. There are people who went to the bush, they don't come down. They don't come down from the vehicles. Apart from council members' vehicles, there are people who went to the bush. Let's investigate, Gambians. Let's not just take things. People will come here and say things. Let's investigate and come to the bottom of the truth. This will take years. I'm a family member. I cannot come here, somebody sitting here, Fatih was there, Fatih was there. RSM Jeng has misled people, even our young soldiers, telling people that he has choice where he's supposed to be posted, where on our weak army. Posting is directed by...
I think, point of order, Mr. Chair, I think we have to stop it at that. The witness is just here to answer questions. He's not given the opportunity to address the Commission. So let's leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you. We still have a few questions from the Commission. Commissioner Jones, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Fati, you did testify to the Commission that you're part of the people who arrested Elijah Kebe on the 13th of November, an event that you have said you subsequently regretted, correct? You also did say that you knew Elijah's wife or one of his wives personally. Now, making reference to what you just alluded to earlier about the human face, Elijah's arrest eventually led to him being detained for 4 years, leaving behind 3 wives and 9 children. During that time, did you ever make contact with the family to support them in any way?
Normally, the late wife, I don't know the other wife, but the late wife, Farsanya, I know him. I know her. Even, there's no need to sit here on TV to say certain things. For Fatu is my sister. I call him sister. I call him sister. I don't think there is a need for me to go to those things. I told you, Alaji personally, he's watching, where I'm whether he's in the room or watching. I even paid bill for him. I met him somewhere in a dental clinic. I pay his bills for him. I am telling you, I regret that.
So, sorry, the question was whilst he was detained, not afterwards, during those 4 years.
When he was detained, I cannot go to his house. Because, you know why? He's away. I had a witness who said when a prison officer was sent to his house to deliver a message, the mother grabbed him, that he's the one who killed his son. It was risky to go and meet somebody at that time. But I tried to meet him as a person. He will work at the ferries, we are always together. When I come with my vehicle, he's the one who would normally arrange me to go in. And we have that relation.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Imam Jallo, have the floor, please.
Commissioner Imam Jallo, witness.
Yes, sir.
You have attempted to extricate yourself completely from everything and all the actions that were given here as by the witnesses. But then you are an intelligence officer posted to the depot. Why did you decide to go to Edward's house instead of going to some other place which would be safe for you? Why did you go specifically to Edward's house? I have 2 questions for you.
I specifically go to Edward's house. Like I'm saying here, it will be worse if I don't go to Edward's house. Anywhere I go, nobody will be there to justify that I was in. If I sleep with a friend, if I sleep with a friend at home, that friend will never come here and testify that Fatih has slept with me, because he might not even give him the chance. But I spent with a soldier in that night, in Edward's house. He's alive and looking at me. And all these events you are saying, there are people who are with Edward, they are alive and they are looking. That's why I said we should do our investigations. Particularly, my emphasis is on those convoys. We went to the bush, and each vehicle, the occupant. That will give us gist of what happened in that bush, and number of people. I'm not saying that they don't do that homework, but I'm giving you that as an investigator. Let's identify how many vehicles went to the bush and their occupants. That will give us a lead to get to that.
The second question is, all these victims, you claim they were your friends, you used to eat with them, and you used to share their food, and you are in good company. Can you convince this commission that these people are all telling lies against you? How can you justify that?
No, those I arrested, they don't tell lie against me. But the one who is saying he saw me at mile 2, at that night, is a lie. I stand on that, and on high grounds. Not like I have fear of the outcome. If I am, people, noble people have been wrongfully accused. If we visit the Quran and the Bible, there is nothing they can do, but that's ordained by God. And anything I take here, I will take it in good faith. But I know whatever I'm saying is true. Imam. Wallahi, I'm telling you, Imam, whatever I'm telling you is true. Wherever I ignorate myself, I was not there. Rest assured.
Thank you very much, Imam C. What's your name, Imam C? You have the floor.
Fati.
Sir.
One day, lima jagal.
One thing surprises me.
Alaji Kebe jabaram bi teranga bim la defaral.
The hospitality Alaji's wife gave to you.
Bi ngeen ko yobbu.
When you were taking him away.
Li nga ko wax nonu bo ñaké ki te di ngay am benen jabar loolu lo ci xelaat.
The statement you made to her that if you lose your husband today, you can get another one tomorrow. What do you make of that statement?
Ñaare laacc bi moy Edward moy fetel Alaji Kebe ci tank.
When he shot Alaji Kebe on the foot.
Bo fekke fo nekkon.
Ma'am,
where were you at the time?
I was there. The first question, if I not forget, what do you say? Alaji Kebe's wife. I tell you, these circumstances, I speak well, Malakawal. Smala wahe, aferi Alaji, time bima def lolu.
When I did that,
time bima def lolu, Imam.
When I did that, I cannot tell you that I was a complete human being.
Because Alaji Kebe Jabara Manila Musmako Otram, Far Sanyang, sister Lakodewe, bro. She's a wonderful lady.
Alaji Kebe's wife, I do not call her by name. I used to address her as a sister. She was a good woman.
Hamma yenai circumstances. Amna yomne lila se dukal doko de ham. Saytane dafa bari dole.
But sometimes, due to circumstances, what gets you into certain things you cannot understand. Satan is powerful.
Dome Adamala.
I am human.
Well, limala dengu moy man luma def nako.
But what I can assure you is that whatever I did, I will say so.
I'll be funny people looking at me. I would be arguing my brother. No, I was not there. It would be funny outside because people said I was there. But I retain that if these things are, I've seen people who have been jailed after 28 days. They come to 28 years. They come to realize that they are innocent. If these investigations continues, wallahi, I'll be a victim today, but tomorrow I'll be extradited. I accepted those I maltreat and I regret it. But otherwise, anything I say no to. If this Quran, you cannot joke with it. Anybody who took this Quran and say lies, you will see it, unless you are not a faithful Muslim. And I am convinced. I've seen people who swear to the Quran on lies. What happened to them? I will not sit here and work to the Quran and swear to the Quran and lies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fati. I hope the emphasis that you made with great vigor about investigators investigating the number of vehicles that went out to the forest, I hope you will help our investigators. If you have facts in that area, please be in touch with the investigators at some point.
I was not there.
Hold on a second, let me just finish the point.
Okay.
But that's the one. I'm saying that you're there. But you sound as if these are things that you have some knowledge about. If you do share it with our investigators. Council, do we have any other witness lined up for the afternoon?
No, Mr. Chair. That's it for today.
Thank you very much indeed. And I take it also that, Mr. Fati, the remarks that you made extensively were part of your concluding remarks.
Exactly.
And those concluding remarks coming from an older and hopefully wiser soldier now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned. We meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock.